Hey, Commanders. So, everybody's doing a review on the last arc, so I guess I'll go ahead and join the bandwagon and do that. I've been doing a lot of other online projects, so doing a lot of stuff with YouTube, trying to learn how to post on a good cadence. So I've got a couple other projects that I'm doing, so that's why I've been gone for a bit. But I wanted to go ahead and give my review for this last patch for October. What we had here was the G7. I can't speak to that because I'm currently in G6. What I can say about it is it seems like it's got its issues. So I'm kind of glad that I'm not going immediately into G7. But I'm pretty close, so I'm hoping to be into G7 maybe by the start of the first quarter of the new year. That would be great. But I'm currently 67. I did make 67 this arc, so that was a good thing. And really all I'm doing is just pushing ops. I'm not really doing much research unless the research only costs me non-material items. So like, what is it called? Here, I'll show you. So like when I do my research, I'm really only focused. Well, first of all, I've got almost all my research categories almost completely all done. So like what I'm doing here in Galaxy is I'll do these, but actually because of what I've learned about G7. This is a little bit of the review for for the new arc. Because of what I learned about G7, there's certain things I'm not going to research anymore. So I'll give you an example. G7 doesn't have hazards. So I am not going to put a lot into hazard research. Why? I'll show you why. So this is a little bit of a review for 7. I know it's a little off topic, but it is important to think about how the next release is going to impact you. So this handy little ship right here, it's amazing. If you go look at its resistances, here we go. Well, base hazard resistance is 430%. I think the most hazard resistance or hazard is 500 at like 70. And I can upgrade this boat here pretty quickly. I'm waiting for a spend event. That's why it's not upgraded. I'm at tier 13 of 15, so I'll be at 14 here pretty soon. And then if I go to the research, I believe the research is going to give me additional hazard bonuses. So we'll look at that really quick. I think it does. But even if it doesn't really matter. Because, golly, I hate this. Let's see. So we got hazard proof. Yep. It'll put it to 500. So, and this ship can kill everything I need to kill. I've even stopped leveling up my, here, let me show you. Again, I know that this is not part of the upgrade or the update, but it's important because it should change your strategy moving forward. I'm not going to upgrade my Velox to the extent that I was before. I'm only going to upgrade it so that I can unlock my Borg Cube, which I'm not even sure I'm going to do that, to be quite honest. But because again, the junk ship just pretty much does everything I need for it. So what's the point? So that's the first thing. With the introduction of G7 and the fact that there are no hazards, I have changed what I'm going to research. I'm not going to focus on doing hazards anymore, or at least what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on getting my G6 miners. I wasn't going to because I didn't know G6 or G7 was coming out at the time. It took a lot of analysis for me and personally to decide whether or not I was going to do the G6 miners. But now that I know the G6 miners are really important, especially going into G7, I'm going to do the G6 miners. It also impacted the way that I'm going to spend my faction credits. Because the faction credits are changing in G7, I really have no reason to hold on to my credits. So I went ahead and bought the new Grange because I just got to Hero. I will buy, when I get to Hero, I will buy the Grishnar. And the Romulan, it's going to be a tough one because I really wanted to get the Scimitar. So it's going to be either the Scimitar or the Divite. However, if you've watched my other videos and you know that I have invested into the priority 1 missions to get those at 1 hour, which brings in a lot of income, I'll show you how that has impacted my away teams. So, just a real quick note. Do not get these. These are a horrible, horrible, horrible investment. As you can see, I didn't really have much else to spend on because I get so much of these priority 1. There's what are these called? Crescents or Pioneer Crests. Because I get so much of these, because I have the 1 hour missions, I really have kind of lost out on what I could spend. I mean, I could do this one, but I don't have enough. I could probably do this one actually. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I was like, okay, well, what should I do? Well, I really need Chakotay. I don't need Janeway. So I needed to get Janeway before I got Chakotay. So I got this today, in fact, as of this writing. Looked everywhere. Turns out that these are parts of your priority 1 away missions, which to me is a bad design. Because everything else here you get immediately, or it's on a clock. It's on a predictable clock, right? Like this. I get this here every single day at the same time as long as I keep a schedule, right? All of these other things, they're instantaneous. I buy the tactical max or the rerouting to shields. I get it immediately. The discounts, I didn't buy the DS9 because I've got all of them maxed. But, these discounts, you get it immediately. These, on the other hand, apparently these come through in priority 1 missions. So you only have 4 that you can do a day. Now you've got a spawn rate that you have to do with it. And then you have to complete the mission. And I haven't even gotten one yet. So I don't even know if it's on a crit or it's just part of the base. Not a good design. I don't like it. So I do not recommend you spend any on these. So, okay, back to the review of 7. So we have the G7 release. I cannot speak to that because I'm not playing it, but has it impacted my current play? Yes. So if you're G6, focus on, now that G7 is out, my suggestion is focus all that you can on your junker ship. Okay. Now, as you know, and I'm open about this, I usually just buy the ship or the building and then maybe one upgrade pack for it. And that's exactly what I did with this. And since it's been out every single day, I pull that. I pull it. So I don't remember when this came out, but you can see that I'm now at tier fit 13. I can take it to 14, maybe even 15 pretty quickly after there's a spend event. But I don't have that many resources, so I may not be able to get it all the way up. But if you're in G6, focus on this ship now that G7 is out. Don't worry about any other ship unless you want to have your Borg ship. But I would say because of the way PvP works, the only reason to have look. So again, this is now part of the review, but this is part of strategy and understanding the way the game is designed. The Borg ship really doesn't do you any good in PvE. It gives you no benefit to PvE other than the transwarp, which you have to get a refit for that. So unless you have the refit, which you can get for free through tournaments, there's not a lot of reason to have the Borg Cube. The Borg Cube really kind of comes into its... And by the way, the Borg Cube doesn't even become any good until like level 13, 14 anyway. So you have to do a lot of effort to get it up. Plus, it has so many contingencies for its level expansion. In my opinion, it's not worth it. I have not seen any benefit to it. Okay, so why does this tie to G7 release? Because if you're not G7, you have to think ahead. And you got to think ahead about how you're going to move through G6 and get to G7. Now that G7 is out, we know what the changes are. Spend your faction credits. Number 2, focus on this ship. Oops, sorry. Don't worry about getting a Minerva or a G3 uncommon or a G6 uncommon or a G6 rare. You will need to get a G6 epic though. Okay? From everything that's out there. So plan on getting your G7 epic. Don't worry about your G3, I don't know why I keep saying G3, G6 uncommon or your G6 rare. If you get this ship up, you don't need them. You absolutely do not need it. Unless you just want another ship. I can do my waves, complete them with my G5 epics, 2 G5 epics, and this one. I can do my Mirror Universe level 70 runs with this ship. I can get out farther with this ship. I can do my my armadas with this ship. Do not spend your resources unless you just want to. Okay? But this game is about resource management. So that's how this plays into G7 now that it's been released. You're not a G7 player, but you got to plan ahead. So G7 can't speak to, but I can speak to strategy about G6 and how it's changed. I'm spending my credits so that I can get the G6 miners because I have 3 Selkies and I contemplated should I just get more Selkies. But then I realized that with my income from the Crests, I'm a little bit all over the place here, but it's because so much has changed. Because of the Crest income, what I've started doing now that I can't build the ships yet, but I can buy the blueprints. So what I do is I'm buying the blueprints for the miner ships. Because I still got a ways till I get to 70 anyway, or even 68 for that matter. I still got I got to upgrade all of the battle platforms and all of everything. So it's a long, long way. You notice here I'm not buying these anymore because I already bought them with the credits. So just as soon as you can buy them, get it, and then just move on. Wait, you'll eventually get to the level where you can build it, and then these will be in addition to your Selkies. But eventually these are going to replace your Selkies because your Selkies won't be able to get out too far into the G7. So that's another thing. Okay, now let's talk about the arc overall. Let's go back to the webpage. All that had to be said because it really plays an impact and a role into how you progress forward. Okay, so can't speak about G7. Gul Dukat, Gul Dukat is a PvP character. I have not unlocked him. I'm like 3 away at this point. Let's see. I think I'm like maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, I'm 3 away. Didn't unlock this gal here. I didn't really understand how the progression for these ones worked, so I just didn't understand it, so I didn't play it. Typically, if I don't understand how an event works, I avoid it because I don't want to waste resources. And that's just because this game is so complicated and they don't put a lot of information out to really explain stuff. Like that particular research that I just bought, that's pointless. If I don't understand the event, I don't play it. Okay. So Gul Dukat is a PvP officer. I have not yet unlocked him. I hope to unlock him by the end of this because hopefully my alliance will complete this event. Where is it? If we can complete this event, then we will, I'll get him. But, we still have 12,000 points with 2 days left over a holiday weekend. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get it. So we'll see. I should get the 8 here. This will give me another one. So I'll be too short. So we'll see. I don't know. But he's a PvP character. Don't really do a lot of PvP. So I'm not too concerned about unlocking him or not. The big thing was the G7. And of course they had the Dauntless. I think I made a video on that saying, it's really not worth it. I did get it because, again, I do get the stuff. But where these ships, I do want to make a comment for people moving forward, where these ships really have value typically is going to be in their refinery. Because they're either going to give you more materials, or they're going to give you more speed ups, or they're going to give you something in the refinery that's going to be useful. And that's why I get them. It's not because I think that the ship was phenomenal. I mean, I have the artifact. I use the artifact way more than I do this. So, if you haven't bought it, I don't think you're missing out on anything. I've only used it for a couple missions just because I don't want to sit there and click. I'll send it out, activate it, and go. But I can't use it at my current level. So I can't use it to kill any ships that are my current level. So it's kind of useless to me. I heard, I think the Angry Rhino was talking about, like, he'll be able to use it in like 3 years, and he's probably right. It probably won't become too useful for a while because it's a very slow drip. So is the tech. And most of the tech really just focuses on augment, which I'm not going to use the Dauntless for it. So, it is what it is. Let's see, what else is there? The villains, patch notes. They had a lot of updates. I'm not really going to go through those. Overall, I think it was just sort of blah. It lacked a lot of enjoyment. I really wish that Scopely would go back to making events have materials or resources. It's kind of like they go through this wave. Like right now, they're going through a wave of giving you just lots of capability to get officers. And officers are great, but ultimately what keeps players from progressing through the game is access to materials and resources. And yeah, I just wish that more of the events gave materials and resources. And what I really would like is for them to stop giving me resources I don't need. Tier 4 or G4, G3, like I'm G6. I don't need those. It's not because it takes up space. Like I don't give a hoot about the databases. That's somebody else's responsibility. What I care about in that case is more of the fact that, like, as somebody who buys in the game, okay, who has, I wouldn't say a budget. I have a self-imposed budget. I mean, I can buy whatever I want, but I'm not trying to rush through the game. But somebody who buys in the game, when I go to view a purchase and I see materials in there that I don't need, that I will never use, that will never be of any value to me as the current generation that I am at, to me that takes away value from the purchase. So I would rather have that removed and have more addition to the actual generation material that I use that I find usable. And I know they can do that because, almost everything they do in the game is ops based. So it's not like they can't do it, but it takes away value for me. I used to buy the resource packs all the time, but that was because they were useful to me because, I didn't need G6, right? I didn't need G5, G4. So I was getting G2s and G3s, which were great. Once I got to G4, I didn't need any G2. Once I got to G5, I didn't need any G3. G6, I don't need any G4. I still need a little bit of G5, but it's not imperative. I need it mostly just because I want to complete some ships, but I can be patient on that. But I definitely don't need G3 or G4. So that's really what I'd like to see them fix. But in any event, that's beside the point. I think overall I'd give this arc maybe a B because there was a decent path to acquire the officer, which I appreciate. You just had to put in a little bit of extra work, and you could do it over a period of time. I mean, I there's maybe one or two events that I missed just because they were spend events and I don't have a lot of materials to play. So I think I'd give it a B. The arc overall. Individually, like the ship, I'd give the ship maybe like a C plus. The officers, I'm gonna just sort of say a non-applicable because I don't play PvP, so I can't really give them. I'm not gonna give them a rating because I don't really know. But I will say that they are both focused on base cracking, which I would do if it wasn't such a pain in the backside. So I'll just leave that out there. If we could fix the, bigger scoops or, I don't know. I know they tried to fix that with the amalgam, but, there's so many resources. It's just like, it's a pain. And it's not a fun thing to do. It really isn't. So yeah, B on the overall arc, C plus on the ship. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The building, I'd give, the building that came out, I'd give it maybe like a C also because it doesn't really do much other than to fix the problem with the augmented hostiles anyway. So it doesn't really give a lot of value. So yeah, I think overall, I think with those three scores, probably a C plus on the arc, the whole arc. I wouldn't change C plus, solid C plus. I don't really have any complaints in terms of like, oh, this didn't work or anything like that. I mean, it is what it is. But just the game, it wasn't involving. And the content really didn't pose a challenge in terms of like, what do I need to do to overcome this other than make a purchase? So if you didn't make a purchase, it's probably very painful for you. If you did, it was less painful. Yeah. So, I think they're going to drop the new information soon because I think this next week we'll be rolling out the new arc. So hopefully we'll have something fantastic to play. Talk to you all later. Bye.